Evening YouTube, it's TexasMiddleMan. Thought I'd go over my everyday carry. As you can see by the picture I just showed you, it's a lot of gear. It takes a little bit of work, but you can actually carry all of that very covertly and conceal it, and nobody will know the difference. Just kidding. It's late, it's about 10:20. I'm kind of sleepy and not ready to go to bed, so I figured I'd make a video and talk to you guys. I'm actually in the process of going through and reorganizing my everyday carry, what I call my trouble bag, which is my kind of an auxiliary to an everyday carry. For me, it's the, okay, something's happened and for whatever reason I've got to get home, but situation's not normal. And I've had most of the stuff that I'm going to show you with me at one point in time, in one manner or another, pretty much all the time. It's in my truck, or it's on my person, or it's in my bag. But I've been watching a couple other people's videos, and it's given me a lot of really good ideas. They've had some really useful information. I'll put some links to those in the bottom or in the annotations there. But I've just kind of had all my gear piled up, more or less, so to speak. And it's really become apparent that I need to have a system in place where I've got things prioritized and accessible based on the situation, rather than just, you know, packed up. And you'll see kind of what I mean when I say I've got a good bit of kit with me at all times, just about, but it needs to be more organized. And I'm actually wanting to put together a couple of variants of everyday carries, get home bags, trouble bags, actually put together some actual 24-hour or 72-hour packs, and then duplicate those for my wife, tailored a little bit more to what she's going to need, and then have smaller versions that I can either, you know, latch onto my bag or grab as I'm heading out the door, that are tailored more to my kids' needs. And then I want to eventually build in some redundancies. Obviously I'm not going to do all this at once because it's a lot of money. But this is probably going to get broken up into a couple of different parts, because I imagine it's going to be kind of long. But what you see here are most of the weapons that I keep either on me or near my person when I'm either in my vehicle, here at the house, or at work. It may seem a little bit extreme to some of you, but bear in mind that this morning, not that far from where I work, and I actually go pretty close to this location on my way to work, there was an officer who made a traffic stop, and this is this morning at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. Pulled the car over to make a traffic stop, and car pulls into a gas station. The driver gets out, or one of the passengers gets out, I'm not really sure about the details, but gets out, and before the officer even has a chance to get out of the car, opens fire on him with an AR-15. Now the officer survived because he was wearing body armor. He was wearing a ballistic plate, and that's actually what stopped the round. And he was actually able to call for help, and they actually apprehended, last time I heard, a couple of the guys. But you know, so my prayers are with him and with his family, and thank God that he's okay. But you know, just down the road from him, I mean, trouble can find you wherever you're at. It has nothing to do with whether you live in a bad neighborhood or a good neighborhood, or in the country or in the city. Shit happens, and bad things happen to good people. Not too long ago, we had a guy down the street who was robbed at gunpoint. He was coming home and got out of his car, and 2 guys with masks and guns rushed out at him from behind the neighbor's car. The guy wasn't armed. Didn't see the guys coming until they were on him with guns drawn, and you know, fortunately they robbed him, let him go, but they could have gotten ugly very quickly and very easily. Yeah, and I bring that up just to make the point that one guy's just coming home from work late, the other guy is a cop. Obviously an officer expects to run into trouble, but I don't always have time. You never know when something's going to happen. The guy down the street, I don't know him personally. Some neighbors that I'm friends with know him, and you know, just thankful to be alive. But you know, I can pretty much tell you exactly how it went. I'm sure, because you know, wasn't all that long ago that I probably would have done the same thing. He got out of the car, was messing with the stuff, and by the time he realized there were two guys with guns, they were already on him. You know, you have to maintain awareness of what's going on. You have to think about what's going on. You know, I get flack from some of my friends because we were talking. You know, I look at the cars that are behind me. I look to see if they're making the same turns that I'm making. I look to see if they're turning into my neighborhood. If somebody turns into the neighborhood at the same time that I do, and I make a turn and they make the same turn, I loop back around. I don't stop at my house. I keep going to see if they keep following me. And I've done that because I've actually had someone who has tried to follow me home for whatever reason. Apparently he didn't like my driving or something, and you know, followed me home and started to get out of his car, and I guess he wanted to fight. I took my jacket off and he changed his mind when he saw my 45, and he drove off. I didn't take the jacket off to show him a 45 only. I took the jacket off so it wouldn't restrict my movement. I'm on my property. I had no reason, no need to conceal the gun by law where I'm at. So if seeing the gun changed his mind and avoided a fight and avoided me having to use the gun, I'm okay with that. You know, that's why I carry a gun. Not because I want to shoot somebody, not because I think I'm John McClane or, you know, Wyatt Earp. I'm not. The last thing I ever want to have to do is shoot someone again. If I have to, I will. What I want to do and what I will do to protect my family, my house, myself, they're not the same thing. You know, I make a point to drive past my house, check the vehicles, especially if I'm coming home late at night, check the vehicles on either side. And I did this before this guy got robbed, for this very reason. This isn't the first time I've heard about that happening. And I turn around in the little turnaround area past my house, and I come back. It gives me a chance to look. It may sound crazy, but when I come home late at night, if I go out and do something, or I work late and I come home, I carry one of these in my truck. I keep it on the charger. I also have one of these upstairs. It's a Streamlight Streon. It's very bright, and I actually look in between the houses before I get out to make sure that there's not anybody there. I know it sounds crazy, maybe a little paranoid, but if it keeps me alive, it keeps my wife from being a widow and my kids from growing up without a father, okay, I'll be paranoid. I'm okay with that. Does it get tiring? Does it wear on you? Yeah, it does. But what are the alternatives? You know, I live in the suburbs. One of the things that I do before I go to bed at night, and I'm always the last one to go to bed in my house, is I put things in front of the doors and in front of the windows that if somebody were to come in somehow quietly, it's going to make noise. It's going to wake me up. My dog in the house is probably going to start barking. It's going to give me that little bit of extra time. In my house, all of the bedrooms are upstairs. It's one of the things I actually liked about the house when I bought it. There are a lot of things I don't like about the house now, but when I bought the house, one of the things I liked was that all the bedrooms were upstairs. And literally from where I sleep in the bed, I can actually defend upstairs from somebody coming up, because there's a very narrow passage. The stairs are not very wide, and I actually have a clear field of fire, if I had to, at the top of the stairs, without worrying about putting a round into one of my kids' rooms. As long as I maintain a certain field of fire, and I know what that field of fire is. Am I going to shoot at someone from the stairs or from my bed while they're coming up the stairs? Probably not. I don't want to engage somebody while I'm laying down. I'd much rather be standing up. But again, you never know. Hopefully that scenario never plays itself out. And even then, even though I know what that field of fire is, when you're in that type of situation, parts of your brain shut off. You're running on adrenaline. It's real easy to think you're in control, or you know what's going on, and make a mistake without ever realizing it. And that would be putting rounds not in the direction of my son's room, but way too damn close for comfort. So obviously that's not going to happen unless I've got no choice. Like I said, it's not even something I practice, because I do things to make sure that someone coming into my house makes enough noise that I have time to get set, have my wife call 911, call 911 myself, and hopefully move everybody into my room or into our closet, and then defend from that position. I sleep with a gun next to my bedside table every night. Glock 17. Not a huge fan of the 9mm, but I like the fact that it's got enough rounds, and with the right ammunition, in my opinion, the anemic weight of the bullet is overcome. Why the Glock 17 and not my normal carry gun? Glock 17 has the rail. I have the Surefire X300 on here. I can use that, both hands on the weapon, not one holding the light and one holding the gun. So that's some of my philosophy on home defense and on personal awareness. There are guys out there who know a lot more about me. These are things that I have implemented in my life from personal experience, or from training that I've gotten from other people. No, I'm not a law enforcement officer. I've never been in the military. One of the things I did, though, when I became a concealed handgun holder, was I got training. Now, I grew up shooting guns, but I took training, because there's a difference between standing at a range and hitting the bullseye and fighting. I'm a member of the IDPA. I don't get to shoot as much as I like. Ammo costs, father, work, time. But I am a member of the IDPA, which, if you get the opportunity and the ability to do it, I highly recommend you join IPSC or USPS or USPSA, IDPA, whatever. There is no substitute for practical experience and training. And outside of a combat soldier or a police officer, you're not going to get practical experience outside of some sort of league like IDPA or IPSC or whatever, and actually taking training from someone who knows what they're talking about. It's just something I don't think anyone who is going to have a gun, carry a gun, or plan on using a gun for self-defense, I don't think it's something you can neglect to do responsibly. Some of the training is expensive. Sometimes it might be hard to get to. In my opinion, it's worth making the effort and going through the expense. And with that, I'm going to get off my soapbox. I'm going to stop the video here and move on to phase 2, which is showing you guys the stuff.